The following KQED production was produced in high definition.
Every single bite needed to be savory. There's Twinkies in there.
Wow.
It's like a great big hug in the cold city.
I mean, that food is about as spicy as I can handle, and my parents put chili powder in my baby food.
And I sent French fry bits everywhere, all over the table, and just a lot of chewing. And
Okay, my stomach is growling right now. I just want you to know I'm hungry.
Check Please Bay Area is brought to you by the members of KQED and by
Charitable Auto Resources, urging you to donate your car to KQED's Vehicle Donation Program to help raise funds for quality public broadcasting. IRG, with thousands of natural stone surfaces, all in stock today. IRG Brisbane, Dublin, or online at marblecompany.com.
Locally owned and operated for 24 years, Amici's East Coast Pizzeria serves up a taste of the Northeast's distinctive Italian fare at their 12 Bay Area locations. Open daily for a quick business lunch or an evening meal out with family and friends, Amici's offers homemade pastas, fresh salads, and pizzas cooked in traditional brick ovens, with many vegetarian, vegan, and gluten-free options. Menu and locations can be found at amicis.com. Amici's, proud to support KQED.
Hi, I'm Leslie Sabraco. Welcome to Check Please Bay Area, the show where regular Bay Area residents review and talk about their favorite restaurants. We have 3 guests, and each one recommends one of their favorite spots, and the other 2 go check them out to see what they think. This week, education technology innovator Lori Hebert sinks her teeth into new projects at school and into the hunt for good places to eat. As a one-time vegetarian, she looks for menus with options for her and a few for carnivores to chew on. And artist and independent music producer Jacob Battersby has his own music label. Food is the melody that keeps him going. He says he can't imagine life without taste buds. There has to be a song in that. But first, retired CEO and native San Franciscan Bob Bjorkquist has swapped his work schedule for a calmer one that includes his favorite spot for a relaxing lunch. Seafood, fresh and good, is front and center on the menu at his chosen spot on Union Street at Buchanan in the Marina in San Francisco. It's called Nettie's Crab Shack.
My full name is Annette Yang. I had a good friend and a restaurant mentor that I worked with over 10 years ago who called me Nettie, and it stuck and felt like the right name for a crab shack. Ingredients are everything for us. We start with top of the line, really pristine, beautiful seafood, and it's not cheap. So we try to offset that with buckets of beer, carafes of wine, inexpensive house cocktails, and so that the experience is great food, but doesn't break the bank. We're in the marina where people like to be outside, so we tore down the front area and made a big open-air patio, which has been wonderful for us. The biggest draw. On beautiful days, the patio is packed.
Our 2 main fish purveyors are Port Seafood and Monterey Fish, who search out great fishermen and find out how they're catching their product. We get the information, keep everyone well informed.
We actually have a big restaurant in terms of square footage, but we still run it like a small mom and pop restaurant. Brian and I are here every waking moment of the restaurant. I do see every guest that comes in, and he does see every plate that goes out, and I think that makes a big difference.
Now, Bob, tell me what it is about Nettie's that brings you back time and time again.
I was introduced to Nettie's about 2 years ago and went there to try their crab. It was off season, and so I tried their poor boy oyster sandwich, which is to die for. I go back constantly, enjoy it. It comes with a large plate. In fact, there's so much oysters that I usually bring half of it home. They have their own homemade shoestring potatoes with rosemary, which are addicting.
You guys are over there shaking your heads. Yeah, you had the shoestring potato fry?
And a beautiful coleslaw that again is homemade, and it's just a marvelous experience. They have a great atmosphere. It's wide open.
Right. Let's get to. I want to ask Jacob because you were shaking your head on that. Did you have the po' boy as well?
I didn't. I wanted to try that. I ended up getting the crab roll, which was amazing. It was
Crab Shack. You want to?
Yeah, exactly. I was like, I figured I might as well taste it on there,
yeah.
So, and it was just generous, tender, big pieces of crab, buttery, and nicely balanced with. They had pickled okra on the side, which I'd never tried, which was pretty awesome, and the shoestring potatoes, which were very tasty and crunchy, and yeah, I dug it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And did you have something to drink with that?
I did. I had Francis Caner Hefeweizen.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
So you're a beer guy.
I can be.
Well, we'll talk about the wine list because they have some fun picks on that. Lori, what did you have when you stopped at Nettie's?
Well, they have a very enticing menu, and we didn't get to try any of the things that you've mentioned, but the thing that maybe stood out at our meal was the blackened halibut BLT. Dear Lord, it was intoxicatingly good. I had no idea what I was in store for, so I declared myself the winner at the table. And although my in-laws had the lobster roll, which I think is similar to their crab roll, and they very, very much loved that as well. Right. So,
and what was it about the BLT that brought you to tears, it looks like?
I think the blackened halibut was perfectly done. Amazing bacon. They had fried green tomatoes on there, which was something I hadn't had in a BLT before. And
it was on the sandwich.
It was on the sandwich.
Wow. Nice.
And it really was a unique flavor combination, and every single bite needed to be savored.
I have buyer's remorse. I wanted that.
Is this one of those dishes that you go, because you go on a regular basis, like once a month to this place, don't you?
Pretty much so, yeah. And I'm in a rut. In fact, the last time we walked in, my wife...
You in a po' boy rut.
I am. My wife eats a green salad, my mother-in-law eats a poor boy, and while I was parking, Nettie looked over and says, I know, 2 po' boys and a green salad. And
so now you're going BLT.
See, I feel like I would be stuck in a rut with the BLT. I will have, it'll be hard to choose something other than that.
Now,
It was so good.
I mean, there can be, we're talking seafood, it can be expensive, shellfish.
Yeah.
Did you find that the pricing was good?
That was one of the things I wish I could have afforded to try more dishes, than what I was able to buy that evening. But definitely looking down the menu, there was a lot of things that looked enticing. I wanted to try out. I stuck with the crab since I was there. I was definitely pleased, but the one that you ordered, I was thinking about it that night when I went home. I was like, I should have tried that one.
You just have to go back.
That's why we got to go back.
Yeah.
And what other things, you mentioned salad, what other dishes are on your roster and you recommend to people when they go to Nettie's?
Well, they have, because they're sustainable fish restaurant, that they have 3 different fish on the menu each day. And so we've done the halibut, we've done the mussels, and each time it has worked out extraordinarily well. It can get a little pricey,
right?
But for the majority, it is very, very reasonable, good wine list, reasonable cocktails. So
and let's talk about that wine list, because there are some very well matched, being the wine person that I am, there's some lovely matches for the dishes. And what wine did you have, Lori?
I had the Kung Fu Girl Riesling. I loved the name of it.
It's a great wine.
It's a great
from
wine.
Washington State.
And our server was very helpful in helping us pick out things from the drink menu. And I was tempted by some of the cocktails, but after the descriptions, they weren't calling out to me as much as the Riesling was.
And let's talk about the atmosphere a little bit, because you can sit outside. It's on Union Street. It really lends itself, and the owners, Nettie and Brian, wanted to have that casual kind of, come back to us, we're home place, right?
Right, absolutely. We go up on the veranda, which is inside, which is very airy, has the outside look to it. The tables, that's the part I like about it. They are far enough apart that you really don't have to be with the people next to you, as happens so often.
God forbid you're with Jacob, right?
No, he did very well.
And just quickly, parking, because any tips for parking, you guys?
I got a nice hike beforehand, so I was ready to eat.
On Union Street, it can be challenging.
I was there on the weekend, exactly, and you know how the marina can be at times. So, I parked a few blocks away uphill. It was fine, nothing, and there was plenty of parking up that way.
Right.
So it was good.
And we circle around quite a bit, but then we just went for the parking garage right across the street, and it was easy. And
that's your tip.
Wow.
That's my tip. That's what I will do next time.
Right.
Won't waste any time circling around. I'll park and go straight back for that.
And that's the tip to do. All right. Now, this is your restaurant, Bob. What is so special about Nettie's?
It's comfortable. The people are great, the food is good, the service is good, and the prices are reasonable. It's a can't miss.
All right, Jacob.
I thought it would be a perfect place to go with some friends, groups, to have a cocktail and some good seafood. It seems like you could be loud and just have a good time and have your own space there. So I really enjoyed the airiness.
And Lori.
I think it was a lovely discovery, great seafood in a very simple and friendly environment, and I think it's worth driving across town to go back there.
All right. If you would like to try Nettie's Crab Shack, it's on Union at Buchanan in San Francisco. The telephone number is 415-409-0300. It's open for lunch and brunch Wednesday through Monday, with dinner Wednesday through Sunday. Reservations are recommended, and the average price for dinner is around $30. Lori's place hails from Eastern Europe, East Germany to be exact. Austere decorations reminiscent of the times past contrast with the romantic candlelight and memorable cooking at her place on South Van Ness, at a restaurant called Walzwerk.
My name is Christiane Schmidt and I'm the owner of Walzwerk. Walzwerk started when Isabel, Missig and me came to America and found out that all the German restaurants in America are Bavarian. And we are from East Germany, we lived in Berlin, and we thought it's a good idea to create a place which shows this side of Germany. The name of the restaurant, Walzwerk, means steel mill. And the original idea was to have a very industrial restaurant, because East Germany was so industrial, and it's also easy to pronounce, I think, for Germany. The food at Walzwerk is very East German, what was very common in East Germany, what we ate when we grew up, what my grandmother used to make. We tried to be very traditional and German, so all the beers we have are from Germany. A lot of Germans meet, we have lots of Germans working here. It's a little community, which I really like. Everything you see on the walls is from East Germany, carried over in a suitcase from Germany to show. And all East German customers who come, they are like, oh, this is like a little revival tour, like for 20 years ago. It's very special.
All right, Laura, I said East Germany, it's really former East Germany, but what is so unique about the cuisine at Walzwerk?
You know, my husband took me to Walzwerk the first time on our 4th date, maybe 8 years ago, and we go back all the time. I had no idea at the time what I would eat there because I was a vegetarian, but one of the things I love about their menu is they have many, many great meat and potato type options, seafood options, but they have incredible vegetarian options. The vegetarian schnitzel is my favorite, and I can have it again and again because it's a little different every time.
Even though you're not a vegetarian per se anymore, right?
I'm not. I consider myself a flexitarian now. Still lean towards the vegetarian side of things. So, but that is a dish that even friends who are omnivores will order the vegetarian schnitzel and love it.
Vegetarian schnitzel. How do you do that?
It's covered with,
so that you swap out the pork loin with cauliflower, beets, carrots, and they bread it the way they do the pork loin, and it's just perfectly seasoned. They serve it with a gravy that's different every time that I go. So, and they, their mashed potatoes are always very amazing, and
it's German cuisine, but with almost a Russian sort of influence to it. Solyanka, the soup that is like almost a borscht sort of character. Yeah. What did you have when you went, Jacob?
I love this place, I just want to say. And I had the chicken breast stuffed with apple and bacon with a sun-dried cherry.
That's my husband's favorite.
Oh my goodness, it was so good.
Yeah, I mean, and being the beer guy that you are, this is 15 plus beers that you can you can choose from, really esoteric, interesting beers as well.
I had somewhere to go after, so I held back on it, but I did have another Francis Caner. I'm a little bit habitual
loyal
like
guy.
that. Yeah, half of Wise, and it was great.
Yeah. All right, Bob, you're keeping quiet over here. What's your when you went to Walzwerk? Are you a German food guy? Is this something?
I hadn't been to a German restaurant in over 30 years.
Ah, okay.
And it may be another 30.
Oh, really? You didn't enjoy it?
It didn't work for me.
Okay, why?
First of all, I like a more airy atmosphere, and it is a little dark.
Well, Walzwerk is steelworks. You know, I mean, there's this. You know, Christian, the owner, is from East or former East Germany.
I could have been in East Germany.
You could have been.
Yes, as I looked at the wall.
Mike Myers coming in and his.
No, I saw Karl Marx and Lenin and a third comrade, and I thought, well, we're going to give it a try anyway. But unfortunately for the three of us, the schnitzel didn't work. The roast pork that I expected to get roast pork was rolled pork that was room temperature.
Okay.
So things just...
Which is traditional.
Well, I just wasn't realized that I was going to be so traditional that night.
Okay.
So it just wasn't it. Although I took a look at their sister restaurant, and it looked more intriguing, and I liked their menu on the website.
I had been to Schmidt's before, about 2 weeks
same owner,
previous.
so we can say.
Yeah. So and I really preferred Walzwerk, and it was for the reason you weren't caring for it too much. I really liked the idea. I walked in there. I've never been to Germany. I felt like I was on vacation for a minute. I really did. Yeah, it was like this small little, intimate, fun, you know, mismatched plates and little tables, and I really enjoyed that. I felt
sort of an industrial area of town. And,
I mean, it was cool. I really felt like I was in a different country for a minute. And
Lori, what other dishes do you get when you're there? Because you've got of course, schnitzel and spätzle, and you've got, you know, traditional dishes. Pickled herring they've got, all sorts of things.
Right, they have some great soups. We love, of course, the potato pancakes. I guess that's very obvious and traditional, but they're always amazing. They do give you a little canapé when you arrive, you know, and those are always
like pumpernickel bread with a little
I like that's a nice
bread.
treat that we like. You mentioned the dish you had as my husband's favorite, and so we often, you know, those are our go-to dishes: the vegetarian schnitzel and the chicken breast stuffed with.
And we split that one as well, and it was so filling. It was perfect.
Now we can talk about desserts. Christian, the owner, as I mentioned, it has a dish on their cold dog. Did you have the cold dog, which she used to was served at her kids' birthday parties in Germany. So what did you have? It's a sort of a wafer dish, but what did you have?
It might have been a special, but it was the chocolate pudding with a vanilla sauce, and it was not too sweet. It was nice and cool after the hearty and kind of richness of the entrees themselves. It was perfect. And I gotta say, the owners there were so nice and fun. I loved how they took care of us.
All right, Laura, this is your restaurant. Tell us about Walzwerk.
Well, we love Walzwerk for the charming, funky, and fresh Eastern European atmosphere, as well as a menu that satisfies vegetarians and meat lovers alike.
All right, Bob.
It was just a unique experience. I'm glad I did it.
All right, and Jacob.
So I would just say that Walzwerk is a fun, intimate, mini Euro vacation. You know, I enjoyed it. It felt like I got to get out of the USA for a minute.
If you would like to try Walzwerk, it's on South Van Ness at 15th Street in San Francisco. The telephone number is 415-551-7181. It's open for dinner Tuesday through Sunday. Reservations are accepted for 4 or more. The average dinner tab per person without drinks is around $30. One of the most common questions I get asked as a wine expert is about the serving temperature of wine. We tend to serve white wine too cold and red wine too warm. A good rule of thumb is that wine should be cool to the touch, not freezing cold. If you want to chill down your whites, a quick way is to have a bucket or even your sink with half ice and half water and put your bottles in for about 20 or 30 minutes. Then you can put them in a ceramic or a granite container like this, and that will keep the temperature nice and cool. And with red wines, you can even chill them down too. The fruitiness comes out and it sort of puts a cap on the alcohol and makes them seem much more balanced. So remember, cool is hot. Cheers. Eclectic, imaginative Vietnamese cuisine using the owner's family recipes. But don't let the traditional sounding dishes fool you. There's room for updated cocktails and a dance floor later in the evening. You'll find it all at Jacob's Place in Alameda. Yes, that's right, on the island. It's on Encinal Avenue, and it's called Dragon Rouge Restaurant.
I'm Jimmy Liu.
And I'm Dan Nguyen. And we're from Dragon Rouge
in Alameda. Well, the family was started with my brother Scott, myself, and our cousin Dan.
It was actually my 30th birthday, I remember it. And I had this great idea, and I was like, let's open a restaurant. And they're like, okay, let's do it. And then, you know, a year later, we were open. Really, it happened really fast. And, you know, 5 years later, we're still here. We're happy. To decide on the recipes, we sat around in a circle and basically asked ourselves what we craved when we were away from our parents.
It's only natural for our mom to be in the kitchen, and she's here every day. All of our customers get to see her. They still call her mom, just like we do.
Mom works really, really hard. She's probably the hardest worker here. She spends hours and hours every day to make sure that the food comes out right, and that's her main purpose. All she wants is the food to come out the way she makes it.
We put a lot of pride into our bar using the same ingredients that the kitchen uses.
We really like to support our community. One way we do that is by donating a lot of food and gift certificates to nonprofit organizations, and also featuring local artists like our very own Vera, who has art here today.
All right, Jacob, you grew up in Alameda, didn't you?
I did. I'm an island boy. Yes,
yeah.
I did.
You
Grew
look
up there.
like it. Very laid back.
Oh, thank you. Thank
boy.
you very much.
What is it about Dragon Rouge that draws you in?
Right. Well, growing up in Alameda, I've always been aware of, you know, new things that come into town. It's definitely progressing and getting a lot better, more, you know, restaurants. And Dragon Rouge, I love Vietnamese food. This place, it's just felt a little more alive than your average kind of hole in the wall with great food. And I just love the kind of contemporary takes that they have on traditional Vietnamese dishes. So,
and what's your go-to dish?
Oh my gosh. Well, first of all, I have to start off with the aloe sake tini. So they do, you know, sake you would think, okay, Japanese. They do that. They have a full bar, but they also have this, and it tastes like heaven water. It's like,
I love that.
It's so tasty. So we had a couple of those, and then I always get the bouncing beef. They're cubes of wok-fired filet mignon, and then it's served over a bed of watercress, and you dip it in this lime pepper sauce, which is amazing. So I get that, and I also always get the catfish clay pot, which is again another thing. If you've ever had a clay pot before, it's served in a bubbling pot with nuke mom sauce. It's a fish sauce with wonderful vegetables, broccoli, zucchini, onions.
You're shaking your head over there.
And the catfish is just like, oh, it's just melting.
What did you have when you went, Lori?
Well, I think I missed a lot of what you just mentioned, but they sound worth going back for. They had a very diverse menu, lots of things. I liked that their menu actually had some of the favorites or popular items in bold, so that helped guide us in choosing. But they had they had a variety of rolls to choose from, but luckily they had a sampler platter with that came out with 3 different sauces, so we were able to try a little bit of both the fresh rolls and more of the crispy rolls, and everything was really, really great. They had a crispy potato roll that was really divine.
Yeah.
And
these are the family recipes. I mean, these, you know, they came from Vietnam, the family, Liu family, and so these are family recipes. Now, Bob, again, did you like it? Did you enjoy it?
I have never been to a Vietnamese restaurant.
Really? This was your first experience? Oh boy.
And?
What fun.
Oh,
cool. Nice. Awesome.
What was your favorite?
We also did the sampler plate on the rolls, which was fantastic. Very, very nice. And then we went for the combo barbecued platter, which included pork, chicken, and beef, and shrimp. There was more food than we could eat.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Vera suggested next time in, we do the bouncing beef, which sounded good.
It's really,
and
really
at the table next to us was a sea bass that I wanted to go over and just take a little slice.
You should have. Come on.
Well, next time.
Next time. And what about cocktails? Because you did mention they have quite an extensive cocktail list.
Yeah, they do. They have a full bar, great wines, also a little local Alameda wines. And
they also had some Vietnamese and Thai beer, so it was hard to choose. There were some cocktails that called out to me, but I ended up going for the Vietnamese beer the waitress recommended.
Oh, nice. Which one? Do you remember what it was?
It was the 33, Export 33, and it was very good.
One of the nice things is that, which I didn't realize, they have a happy hour from 5 to 6, which is a 2-for-1 happy hour.
I like your thinking on this one.
We got there at 5 to 6, and Vera, our waitress, said, "You just caught it, and so order now." So I'm thinking you're going to get 2 glasses in front of you shoved in at 5 minutes. It wasn't that way. They presented it and waited for us to have our entree before bringing the second cocktail.
Isn't that lovely?
That's
so
cool.
Great service.
Absolutely fantastic.
What about value or kid friendly? Is this spot?
Yeah, I definitely think you can get your higher end dishes if you want to do that, and then also it's a great place for lunch. They have these $3 banh mi sandwiches, like grilled chicken. I don't know if you've ever had a traditional Vietnamese banh mi.
Yeah.
Those are great. And you can. There's something for everyone there, I think.
And then you can go for a stroll on the beach.
Yes, and Alameda, I'm always going to be, pitching my town. I love it there. It's flat, beautiful Victorians. The beach is there. Right. We took a nice walk after to the beach, watched the sunset over San Francisco, and it's just a fun city. I love it there.
You really are a beach
I'm biased.
Guy. You're biased.
I'm biased. But hey.
All right, Dragon Rouge is your spot, so tell everyone why they have to go.
Well, I think that Dragon Rouge is it's a hip, colorful, fun atmosphere with exciting takes on contemporary or on traditional Vietnamese family recipes.
All right, and Bob?
If I were in Alameda, I'd go.
All right.
Yeah.
Definitely tasty Vietnamese food, very friendly, warm, inviting environment. We went with friends who live in Alameda who are already planning on going back, so we definitely plan to check it out with them again sometime.
Great.
All right. If you would like to try Dragon Rouge Restaurant, it's on Encinal Avenue at Park in Alameda. The telephone number is 510-521-1800. It's open for lunch and dinner every day with brunch on the weekends. Reservations are accepted, and the average tab per person without drinks is around $20. I want to thank my guests on this week's show. We featured Bob Bjorkquist fishing at his favorite spot of Nettie's Crab Shack, Lori Hebert tucking in at her Eastern European eatery, Walzwerk, and lastly, Jacob Battersby serenading his Vietnamese place called Dragon Rouge. Don't forget that you can go to our website at kqed.org to add your comments on today's show. You'll find more details on all the restaurants featured, and you can watch or download a show. You can read my wine notes on the wines we're drinking today, too. And don't forget to join us next time when 3 new guests will recommend their favorite spots right here on Check Please Bay Area. I'm Leslie Sbrocco, and I'll see you then. Cheers, everyone.
Salute.
This show is available in high definition, Comcast On Demand, and via podcast. For additional information on the restaurants featured, to comment, or to apply to be on the show, go to our website at kqed.org/checkplease. Check Please Bay Area is brought to you by the members of KQED and by Amici's East Coast Pizzeria's 12 locations specialize in the delivery of authentic thin crust pizzas, pastas, and salads to Bay Area companies of all sizes. Professional staff deliver one order at a time direct from their kitchens to your business. Whether it's for an important meeting, a thank you for employees, or a quick meal option, Amici's can provide freshly made food for groups from 2 to 2,000. Menu and locations can be found at amicis.com. Amici's, proud to support KQED.
IRG, with thousands of natural stone surfaces, all in stock today. IRG Brisbane, Dublin, or online at marblecompany.com. Charitable Auto Resources, urging you to donate your car to KQED's Vehicle Donation Program to help raise funds for quality public broadcasting. A KQED HD production.